people! Thanks for joining me. I'm Scott, and I have a 1964 Fender Jaguar, serial number 34370, and it's in for a fret job. Now, a lot of guys will try to pull these out sideways because that's the way they went in, and I'm not. I've already pulled one as a test, and it came out just fine the regular way. But I have a couple preparations that I do first, and I'll show you how I pull them out, nice and clean. First, I score the frets with the X-Acto blade, just like so. Then I drop on one drop the mineral spirits and 2 drops of naphtha. This fret, actually, I already did it, so this one got double the amount of stuff. That's too much stuff. And now I go right in with the old school pullers. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you, I usually heat the fret first. So here's the old heater. This is the 40 water, and this is the StewMac tip. I got the soldering pen and the tip from StewMac, the greatest company in the world. After I heat the fret, I go in and I pull, just like so. Now, my customer has asked, because this has sentimental value, this was her grandma's, she asked me to save all the frets, and I'm actually going to clean them off and put them in a little baggie for her, which is above and beyond what I normally do. But this is a special guitar. It's been through a tornado way back when. And if we look real close at the body, we can see all that damage from the tornado. It's all over the place. And this is real life relic. Being in a tornado in the South. There's another instrument that came in with this one. It's a very old Mosrite bass. Its serial number is only in 300 something. But let's finish this one off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a partial refret. I'm going to leave the top 6 because they're a little lower than my other fret wire. And I actually need that because we got a little ski jump, and I don't want to take any wood off this fretboard. This is one of those veneered fretboards. We'll look at the end and I'll show you what I'm talking about. When we look at the end of the fretboard, we can see that this rosewood is not a solid piece. I mean, it's not thick in the middle. Like, they took a real thin veneer and wrapped it around the maple piece. So if I take any of this off, chances are that the fret tang will go down. I'll have to saw the fret tang down a little lower, and then I'll actually be perforating the neck, which I don't want to do. That will compromise the wood. So we're going to leave this one alone. Over here at the fret cleaning station, we can see how I put a little bit of naphtha in a cup, and I have an old toothbrush where I'm cleaning them off. Both sides, and we're clean. No big deal. So I kind of wanted to be like Simon Standen and knock these frets out sideways with a dead blow and an awl, but I was scared, to tell you the truth. So I pulled out that one, and it came out okay, and I thought, well, there's less chance of me screwing something up if I just do it my regular way. I did it on a maple board couple months ago, and everything turned out fine. So, and I know, like some other guys at the Luth group, like to just pull them straight out. I think Joel pulls them straight up, and I know Connor. So, mineral spirits, naphtha. I like to take the pliers in my left hand rather than my right hand, because I am right-handed, and this, I don't want to power through this procedure. I want to be very delicate and slow, and using my left hand forces me to be slow, and then I guide the pliers along the fretboard with my right hand. This is not about getting it done quickly. It's more about getting it done slowly. And there's a hot fret, so that's why I'm wearing a glove.
Next, I chamfer the edges with the triangle file. If you skip this step, the top corner of the fret slot can hold back the fret from seating all the way down against the fretboard. So this is a very important step. I take my finest Japanese saw and try to get into the corners at the bottom of each slot, just to knock loose any of the sawdust or stuff that's down in there. You can't see it, but it's there. Suction. Fret slot cleaning tool to remove the large debris. 80 grit sandpaper. I like to concentrate around the first fret, not so much in the middle. I don't want to carve out a dish in the middle of the fretboard. This is the fret slot cleaning tool. It's called a refret saw. The saw blade's only about 5/8 of an inch long, so it's much easier to use than a full foot long. I warm up the brown hide glue in the baby bottle warmer. I clean with naphtha and an 8/1000 of an inch feeler gauge. I inject the warm liquid hide glue into the slots. I cut the frets to length. This is a dead blow hammer. That is a nylon tipped hammer. I use 2 hammers. And I do partial fret job on this guitar. Reason is, there was a lot of ski jump at the end of the fretboard because someone placed a makeshift shim in the necked pocket. It had been there for 20, 30, 40 years, who knows. But anyways, I had to use the fret wire with the shortest tang. These fret slots were barely 55, 60 thousandths deep. And if I deepened them any further, I would have basically perforated the fretboard and cut right through it down into the maple. These are very thin rosewood fretboards. They might even call them laminated boards. So I don't want to remove any wood fibers unnecessarily from this guitar. As you'll see with all the guitars I work on, I don't want to hog off a ton of the original wood. And the fret wire that I had to use with the shortest tang also has the highest crown. And I'm taking those original last 6 frets to my advantage because they're only about 35 thousandths tall. It's already basically going to leave me with a little bit of fall away at the fret tops. This is carefully planned out. I use a 3 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge to make sure that the frets are being seated perfectly. And if they're not, I pull them back out. Clean out the slots. Look for any reason there's something holding it back. And I continue. And the reason I did not fix the fretboard divots is because the owner's grandmother had just passed this guitar on to her, and in her memory, I didn't want to go filling all that in. And this was another reason for using the high fret wire with the low tang. I wanted the option of how much to take off the tops. Notice I've weighed down the body of the guitar with these sandbags, and I'm holding the headstock up. So I'm creating relief in the middle of the fretboard as I just kiss the top of these frets with this file. This is simulating string tension. Once again, I don't want to scoop out the height of the frets in the middle of the fretboard. There's also going to be a transition between the brand new fret, which is the 2nd fret you see on the left side of the screen, and the existing fret, which was the last one. So I need to, make that transition a little more gentle. There's a disparity. The next thing I'll do is snap in my diamond file. I've put a little Dynaglide in the cup, and I'll put it on the diamond file, and I'll take out the scratch marks from the first file. This time I'm going in the direction of the way that you will bend the strings, taking out every last scratch. I go perpendicular, and then I go a little bit more of an oblique. Sometimes it takes both directions to eliminate all the scratches. Once I eliminate all the scratches from the fret tops, I'll slightly bevel the edges so that I can string it up and play it without too much discomfort. I have to make a decision now. Do I leave these frets full height, or do I want to take them down 10 thousandths of an inch and make it feel more vintage? I've also got the fretboard divot situation to deal with. If I take the frets down lower, her fingers might start going down into those divots at the 1st, 2nd fret, which I don't want. The diamond file works really good on the edges. Next, I take 300 and 400 grit free cut sandpaper on a popsicle stick. The reason I use a popsicle stick is because I can bend it slightly and get a convex surface. The middle of the stick is hitting the frets, but the edges aren't. If you try this, you'll see why I do that. You don't want the ends of the sandpaper knocking into the fret each time you go across. Another slight bevel there on the other side. I'm a bit ambidextrous, which helps. This time I'm knocking off that 90-degree corner that's left. This only takes one little swipe. It leaves a burr out on the outer edge of the fretboard, which gets removed the next time I smooth the edges. Now I'm crowning the frets. On this particular job, I started with 220 grit and worked my way all the way up through 2000 grit. I'm going in the direction of the wood grain, so I don't need to tape off the fretboard. After the 2000 grit, the last thing I do is use double-aught steel wool in the direction of the fret. This also homogenizes the existing original frets with the new frets. Then to treat the fretboard edges, I take the micro mesh pads. I don't use the first two lowest grit pads. Those are too scratchy. Every time I'm pausing, I'm switching pads. This leaves the ends of the frets looking super shiny. Just what the doctor ordered. Don't they look nice? Next, I clean with the naphtha. There's a lot of fret dust. I don't like it on my hands, and I don't like it on the guitar when the guitar is finished. It's nasty. I oil the fretboard with the lubrication oil. Dunlop. I also put on a few drops of the Mohawk fingerboard oil. One, two, three. 3 drops. See? It's very nice. It's very nice indeed. I'm gluing in the original nut. Why use the original nut? Well, in memory of Grandma. I glue it in with Titebond, that way the next guy doesn't break it when he tries to take it out. See a lot of yahoos out here using super glue and other shit. Kind of destroys it for the next guy, or for the owner that likes to keep the original parts. I put the black dyed maple purfling on the bottom. Now that purfling I did super glue it to the nut. Let's look at these electronics. I would like to tell you that they're all original, but one of the guitar repair control freaks might come on here and comment that that one wire's not original. You're wrong. So I'm not saying nothing. I'm just gonna clean it up and enjoy the video. There's also a mute. I don't know if you noticed, there's a black piece in front of the bridge. It's a mute, a string mute. It's all crispy and crusty. I don't think that the owner of this guitar's intention is to actually use that. So I'm just going to leave it be for now. She hasn't even had a chance to really play these guitars. She brought me this one and a 65 Mosrite bass. They're both given to her, or left to her, by her grandma. This is the rhythm circuit. You'll see the pots are a little bit different. They have these big thumb wheels on them. And as far as I can tell, this shit's all original. I hope this helps you with your '64 Mustang or Jaguar.
So, Jaguar has two circuits, the lead circuit and the rhythm circuit, and this is the rhythm circuit. So the rhythm circuit's a little more like, I guess, a little warmer sounding. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you watching and subscribing and sharing and all that stuff and liking. Catch you later.